So here we are, activity 19, winding up the class, almost to the end. Um, this one's on civil liberties, like mine, yours, our civil liberties that we have. Civil liberties matter more now than they ever have. So, when the founders added the Bill of Rights to the Constitution, they were trying to make something clear that the government exists to serve the people, not control them. So, the First Amendment, for instance, gives you this right to speak freely, follow your religion or not, and peacefully protest. The Fourth Amendment protects your privacy. The Fifth and Sixth Amendments make sure you can't be thrown in jail without a fair trial. Example, the Second Amendment guarantees your right to bear arms, and then the government not to infringe on that right. And that's another important key is what the Bill of Rights do is they protect you from infringement by the government. It doesn't necessarily protect you in private situations, like you can't just say whatever you want, for instance, anywhere. But the government can't take away that right that you have to speak itself. So important distinction, but I want you to remember that. So think about your own life. Like, who controls the internet you use? Can you speak freely at school or online? Who gets searched and who doesn't? What happens when someone gets silenced, excluded, or wrongly accused? In the real world, freedom isn't automatic. It's debated in courts, challenged in emergencies, and sometimes quietly ignored. Civil liberties are your freedoms, and part of living in a democracy is knowing how they work and what role you play in protecting those, and then what responsibility you have with those liberties itself. So, on the document where you're watching this video, you can also go back to this other video that I've linked here, Crash Course Civil Liberties. It's about 7 minutes long. It is a great overview if you need a refresher on what civil liberties are and how the courts protect them. Um, I put it in the assignment so you can watch it. And I'm saying again, you should watch it, just so you know. It's 7 minutes well worth it. So your task is going to be to reflect, to make connections, and to take responsibility. So follow the instructions and respond appropriately. Use your own experiences, opinions, and voice again, again, again. I don't want other garbage. I don't want you to copy this. I don't want you to use AI unless you're using some of these resources to help you get ideas, but I want to hear you in your paper. That's the most important thing. So, civil liberties in your own life. So, pick one, whatever liberty you can think of. I've given you some examples here. It doesn't have to be one of these. It could be something that's not on this list, right? And your responses should be at least 2 to 3 complete sentences for each of these questions. So you're going to get 8 points for the first one, 8 points for the next one, 16 points total, but 2 sentences for the first one, 2 sentences for the second question. The bullet points indicate where the question is, right? Where do you see this liberty in your day-to-day life, like in school, in social media, news, home, community? You don't have to answer all of those, but where do you see it in your day-to-day life? And then why is this freedom important? So 4 to 6 sentences total. Part 2, liberty at risk. Describe a real or possible situation where this liberty could be or has been threatened or misunderstood. It can be your own personal liberty, or it can be a time in history where it's happened. Think about that. So the same liberty you chose before, okay? What could or what happened or what could happen, right? And then who was affected or who is affected? What if this liberty isn't protected? What's lost if this liberty isn't protected? Okay, again, 2 to 3 sentences each. And then part 3, your role in protecting liberty. What's your responsibility right now in protecting or using this liberty wisely? Like, why is this important? So think about, have you ever had to speak up for someone's rights or your own? And then if not yet, can you imagine a time when you might need to? So if you haven't done it, you still need to think about what might happen if you need to. If you skip this, you don't get the 8 points. Does that make sense? Yeah. Easy peasy, right? So here's some examples. And these are hard to read, but you can zoom in. But these are examples, actual student responses from my course, and kind of how they did it. They just answered the question right underneath it on the document. That's the simplest way possible. I love it when it's separate, but you don't have to do that. And you don't have to make a grand presentation of this or anything like that. You just need to answer the questions. All right, it's 48 points. I think that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that. Again, let me know if you have any questions. And I have one question for you. Can a frog jump higher than a house? Of course it can. Houses can't jump. Ha!